you decided to shift actually from accounting to teaching.
Yeah.
How was that, this journey, and what was the most difficult part in retraining?
I was just so lucky to have the opportunity to make this change. When we moved to Singapore, I had been working as an accountant, and I decided to stop working at the time we moved to help my family settle in. And I also wasn't sure how it would work getting a job in Singapore as a trailing spouse. So I didn't work, and for the first year that was fine. I helped my family settle in, but I began to get a bit bored. I felt the pressure of always having to find something to do in the day, or people to go for coffee with. And I realised I need more than this. My children are fine at school. My husband's settled. I've made some friends. I'm ready for more. And so one day I just wandered into school and I said, I'm very up for volunteering anytime. Just let me know. And somebody working in the school office said, send in your CV. And I said, well, I mean, I can, but it's just an accountant's CV with a little bit of girl guiding on the side in my spare time. And so I did. And before I knew it, I was working as a classroom assistant in kindergarten on a temporary contract. And it just evolved over the years. As a classroom assistant, I realised I loved my job. I was maybe a little bit good at it, good enough to be kept on. And I just started to feel that amazing feeling of doing something every day that you really enjoy. And I had never felt that in my previous career. I had enjoyed aspects of being an accountant, especially the people I worked with, the values of the organisations I worked for, but I couldn't truly say I just loved being at work. As a classroom assistant, I didn't have any formal teaching qualifications, but I was given so much experience working across the early years up to year 2. And then the opportunity came up to apply to take a postgraduate qualification through a university in the UK, but doing my teaching placement in Singapore at Nexus International School, where I was already working. And it was as if all the pieces just fell into place. So I took the opportunity, and it was a very hard year of working, studying, completing, teaching practice. But I saw it through. I had some amazing mentors and cheerleaders along the way. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even applied if 1 or 2 people hadn't said you would make an amazing teacher. And that was just what I needed to give me the confidence to give it a go.
It seems that it was an easy shift, as you are talking about it, but I suppose it wasn't that easy, right?
Do you know, it just happened so gradually.
Or it's just history.
And it
and
felt
this is
so right that there wasn't a particular challenge. I mean, of course, there were bits that were hard in the course, but only the same as anybody else would find studying and doing academic writing after so many years of not doing that hard. So, probably I felt bad during the school holidays when I had to spend a lot of time writing like a dissertation. And I felt guilty not spending the time with my children. That might have been the hardest part. And so, as mums, we know the guilt is always there when we're trying to decide how to spend our time.
You're a working mum.
Yeah.
And you have a hobby as well, which has become a rather professional, how to say, not a hobby, but a passion.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about it later. Yeah. But how do you juggle day by day? Do you have to juggle day by day?
I do have to juggle constantly. But there are a few elements to making it successful for me. The first is just being really organised. I think it's a carryover from my accountant days. I have spreadsheets of things. I have sort of lists ongoing and sort of always just looking forward to the next week and the week ahead for my family so I can plan what commitments we have, what food we need to eat on what day, and then what training I can fit around all of that. And of course, what's going on at school as well. So yeah, being really organised is definitely one of them. The other is that my family is incredibly supportive, and my husband works in a stressful full-time job as well, but he absolutely pulls his weight around at home. He helps me to achieve what I want to achieve, and he is fully behind me, and I can't underestimate the importance of that enough.
Can you share any funny story in this beautiful chaos that happened to you?
I'm trying to think what I might have written down. Can you remember?
That was maybe you wrote about a story that happened in a car, maybe, that you were listening to some podcast, maybe.
Yes.
How was that story?
So We were piling off somewhere to go in the car as a family. I happened to have my 80-year-old father-in-law staying and his partner as well. So in the car with my husband, my kids and the senior generation. The last time I'd been in the car, I was alone and I was listening to a podcast. I think it was something to do with the relationships, something that I would only listen to on my own. And this particular episode of the podcast doesn't reflect my general listening, but it was perhaps of a more intimate nature. And so I'd listened to the podcast, great, switched the car off, gone upstairs. When we got back in the car as a family, all belted in, started the car, of course, the podcast came straight back on, full of language that I didn't want my older generation or the younger generation to hear, or even my husband, to be honest. And it's amazing how long it feels like it takes to press pause on that thing. And then I realised even the title flashing up on the console in the middle of the car looked a bit unexpected for the rest of the family, and just trying to make it go away. But I mean, we all laughed about it afterwards. My children didn't even notice, and I doubt my father-in-law did, to be honest. It gave me and my husband a chance to have a good conversation about what I was listening to and why.
Yeah, embarrassing stories that happens to all of us, right? Yeah.
It's funny, though, as you get older, I find things less, mortifying, and I find they're just an opportunity to laugh.